Hi, and welcome to the Law Simplified, the world's largest independent online law school platform. I'm your instructor, Shaveen Bandaranayakan. This video is somewhat different from the others that you might have seen on this YouTube channel, as well as the different platforms the Law Simplified is disseminated on. Usually, these videos congregate around either career guidance on the one hand, or how to ace your law exams. Whether you are a student pursuing your LLB, GDL, LLM, or even PhD qualifications in law, over the past decade, I believe that the Law Simplified as a YouTube channel, as well as in terms of the online law school platform, has given you some guidance to not just pass, but also ace your examinations. For those of you who have matured and traversed, so to speak, their academic stage of life and moved on to their professional degrees, qualifications, and their careers, I've tried to formulate and frame certain principles that I have personally learned, as well as have experienced having spoken to countless students globally who have gone through a similar process. Whether it is going through the solicitor's program, the SQE or the LPC, becoming a barrister, or sometimes even vocationally becoming an adjudicator, a judge. The fascinating aspects of law that one can explore are quite vast. And on a number of occasions, I have tried my best to try and inspire on the one hand, to motivate all of you to try and look at law in more ways than just simply from a practical practice standpoint, which is where this video comes into the picture. More often than not, I tend to get asked by a lot of students on what they can achieve pursuing law. This is primarily because whilst most people might look at law from the outside as being quite monolithic, and what I mean by that is looking at it purely as a profession to go about and practice at one point, it is much more vast, so to speak, than one could imagine. I have often said ad nauseum at times that law is much more about how you think as opposed to what you know. And yes, it does have an ocean, so to speak, of content to cover, and the subject areas are getting more and more niche, from space law to artificial intelligence and so on. But at the core of it, it's really about building a person that is not only able to understand something at a much deeper level, but also able to articulate solutions and is in fact a problem solver more than anything else. Now, the reason for this video and the reason I'm speaking to you in this context is because this question seems to come up quite frequently, and it's not commiserate with the pace at which law is progressing. One reason for this is particularly because in terms of education and in terms of the communication that universities or institutions might be having in relation to their students are quite outdated. Now, granted, there are plenty of areas in law that are quite stagnant. And what I mean by that is the changes and reform that happens are few and far in between. But having said that, neither education, the communication of what's possible, and the motivation to get into career pathways that might not be your usual orthodox methods of pursuing law ought to be told to you. That's essentially what an institution or a university, or at a more granular level, a professor or a lecturer is supposed to do. Open your mind to the possibilities. Now, be it my fast track or masterclass students over time may have started their qualifications, be it LLB, GDL, or even a professional qualification, considering only one tunnel vision path of pursuing it. But over time, I'm proud to say that I have students who've come into a program considering practicing law in its simplistic form, but gone on to arbitration, gone into adjudication, become judges, administrators, barristers, solicitors, even members of parliament and ministers in cabinets therein. The reason why I'm trying to impress this upon you is don't simply take the word of an institution, a university, or even a professor. Do your own due diligence. Try and find out what opportunities are available, because now law is much more about how you think than what you know. That being said, until the next time that we speak, have fun, stay safe, and as always, obey the law.